We're tracking several headlines around the world. Tensions escalated in the Haitian capital of Port-au-Prince as thousands of protesters took to the streets to speak out against the country's devastating gang violence, which resulted last week in the death of a police officer. Government vehicles were set on fire as protesters, many masked, squared off against police, demanding protection and aid. The UN has said 5.2 million people, that's nearly half of Haiti's population, need humanitarian assistance. Former Prime Minister Imran Khan was barred from politics for 5 years on Tuesday by Pakistan's Election Commission after his conviction on political corruption charges. The former leader was tried on charges of unlawfully selling state gifts during his tenure from 2018 to 2022. Khan's legal team has challenged the guilty verdict, which the Islamabad High Court will take up tomorrow. Thousands of mourners lined the streets of Irish singer Sinead O'Connor's former home for her funeral. People cheered and clapped as the hearse carrying her body passed through the town's streets. Mourners praised her not only for her music, but for her bravery in speaking out on societal issues. As our nation's immigration and humanitarian crisis continues, the amount of people trying to make their way from South America has already hit an all-time high. Despite the dangers of traveling through the Darién Gap, those seeking a better life aren't feeling deterred. Matt Rivers has the details for us on this spike. Matt.
Yeah, Stephanie, for years now we've been watching as the number of migrants heading north has continued to grow. But what we're seeing right now is truly unprecedented. And we know that because of what we're seeing in the Darién Gap. This is a thick stretch of brutal jungle that straddles the border from Colombia into Panama. If you want to walk from South America to Central America, you really have no choice but to make this hike. And Panamanian authorities are now seeing more migrants make that trek than ever before. As of the end of July, nearly 250,000 migrants had crossed through the Darién. That's the largest annual figure ever recorded, and there are still 5 months to go in the year. Both the Panamanians and the United Nations are predicting that more than 400,000 people will cross by year's end. The majority of people crossing, Venezuelans. Remember, more than 7 million Venezuelans have left their country in the last few years, but the vast majority are still living in other South American countries. But for a variety of reasons, economic, discrimination, violence, those Venezuelans, some of them at least, are deciding they can't stay where they are anymore, and they're now headed north. We're also seeing large numbers of Haitians and Ecuadorians in the Darién also fleeing brutal conditions at home. Strikingly, a full 20% of those crossing are minors, and of them, more than 50% are under age 5. Now, we're not in the business of making predictions, but most of these migrants will tell you they are aiming to make better lives for themselves in the United States. And so after a relatively quiet summer along the U.S. southwest border, where authorities reported a decrease in migrant encounters, we will almost certainly see those numbers begin to tick up. And this is all a good reminder that migration as an issue is a generational problem across this entire hemisphere, and certainly not something that's going to be solved by simple policy changes at the U.S. border. Stephanie?
And I spoke with migrants just a few days ago who said they would do that trek all over again in hopes for that better life. Thanks, Matt.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.